So it's definitely been a while, but I've not had tons of time as of late, and so I've really been doubling down on an event called Art Fight, as I've just learned about it this year, and I thought it was wonderful, and I had a ton of time participating, a ton of fun participating. And one of the things I actually want to do is take the attacks that I drew and I want to animate them a little bit. And so I'm thinking of making a little video comprised of just short little bobbing animations of the attacks I drew. But anyways, in the meantime, I've been popping on occasionally to sit here and build a little bit more, and it's slowly added up. Over here, I've built up the mountains that it does connect. It doesn't look super pretty, but it does its job as a temporary holder, I believe. I'm probably going to expand the bottom out to wrap around a little bit rather than just stopping there. Me and my friend also got to jump on for a bit, and so we've started the block palette of the steps. We've settled on granite and deep slate for the bottom, and then I think it's going to transition into oak wood for the top half. We're not certain as to every material, but we think that's a pretty good starting point. I've also obviously sat here and made a few changes over here. I I don't know. For starters, the least obvious change is that I've switched out the bottom for grass again instead of oak. I'm also going to sprinkle in some stone, but I think having the ground rise up to meet it looks a lot better than having another room section down. So as you can see on the inside of the dome, I've put a second story, and then I've put on a roof. The beams aren't great. They're really wonky, and I don't love it. I'll probably go in and I want to say straighten out, but I guess bend more than straighten. I'm gonna go in and fix the beams so that they all sort of connect a little better, I think. But I just did this in the last couple of hours, so it was a really quick get it done sort of thing. I've also started up a tiered area here. So up there is going to be all dirt, and that's going to be like the top half of the greenhouse. And then I want that line there to be the roof to this room, and up there be sort of like a little rest of the greenhouse area. Out on the deck, I've also added support pillars to make the roof fit a little nicer. And I've started to add a little greenery area up here. I want it to dangle down, so it feels like a much more natural roof. But I'm not certain as to how much I like the green yet, so that's something that once I get more moss, I'm gonna have to fill it in and then see from there if it's looking good or not. And I mean, it'll have like glowberries and things dripping down too, so it won't be purely moss. But that's the start of that. I've also fully filled in this floor. But yeah. On this side, I've started building up the walls. I've got a lot better of ideas to where I want it to be. I've also added a little deck here just because I sort of like the aesthetics of having a deck there. All the way up top here, I've also started another terraced gardens. It doesn't look super spectacular at the moment, but with some flowers and things, I think it'll look a lot better. I want there to be leaves that sort of hang over the edge over here, so that's why there's no railing. But that's where this is at the moment. Nothing super spectacular, but I think it looks like a cute little area. It certainly breaks up the monotony of just rooms or patios or roofs, so we'll see. I don't remember showing it off, so here's a little. Aw, I'm thinking of putting bookshelves in here, but just it's a little dip down area underneath the roof. I think it's really cute and cozy, and it's fully out of place. That'll change eventually. And over here, I have started to fill out the wall. I've added, obviously, like a little porch deck area. Still no clue what to call them, but I've added that here. I've started to fill in the wall. Over here, I started to pull the building in, and I sort of like a nice little courtyard idea here, but I'm not certain where that's going to end. The courtyard may or may not include here. It sort of just ends up being how I can get this to fit. But I have managed to, over here, start terracing this. I've added a little bench, and then that's where this side's at the moment. It's not changed too terribly much. Down the garden, though, I've started adding little benches in, and I've handcrafted a cherry tree that I think looks quite nice. It has a bit more of a mushroom shape than a cherry tree shape, but I do quite like it. And so I've added a little bench here to look over the edge with. I also struggled to grow a tree in that space, so I went and handmade that tree too, just because I felt a tree looked nice there. I also topped the little edges with some moss, and I really like how it looks, so I'm debating doing it for the rest of the mountain. Not entirely certain on that, especially because that is a huge commitment and would really mess with the mountain. But over here, I've also got a little heart pond. It's got little cattails and just general like lily pads and flowers and things with the candles. And then over here is the third handcrafted cherry tree. It was actually the first one I made, but that's okay. I also found a lamppost design online, but I'm not certain if I love how it fits with this. So I'm gonna probably build up the rest of the garden, and then I'll see if that lamppost design still fits, or if I want to switch it to a different lamppost design, but I do think it's a really cute lamppost design. On the opposite side here, I've started to lay out where I want the room to divide at, and I've started to build up a little overlooking divide between sort of like the bottom room and the top room. And other than that, though, I've not done much of anything to this side at all. I've honestly just sort of kind of been forgetting that it's here. Over here, though, I have managed to make this little hole a lake that sort of spills off into that lake, which I think is quite nice. And up here, you can see I have gone through and added the windows to the roof. I think it looks really nice. I might remove two of the windows if it looks too busy against the rest of the wall, but at the moment it adds a really nice touch of detail, I feel, and I quite like where it is at the moment. The other main change here has been that I added these steps and a little accompanying room to the steps, and then I've divided off where I want this room to end, and where I want that room to end. And I've also decided that I want this room to sort of be an inaccessible room that you can see in multiple areas but not really know how to reach. I've also started up the balcony for here, partially because I really wanted to see how the balcony would look. Not that I have all the railings in, but also because if you click on the button, it's the secret passage to get into the room, which I've been going a little overboard on to make it a nice little mine area. It's got just about this at the moment. Over here will connect to a little cavern, which I want to have a secret underground passageway into the lake. I don't know if it'll be one way or two ways, but I'm enjoying that. And over here, you can sort of see the rafters of the build peeking in, sort of like the inner layers of the walls that I completely forget the names of. I don't know how well it comes across, but I think it's a cute little detail. And then this cave will continue on to the other side too. And I'm gonna more or less transform the entire cave sequence there. I'm ending it more or less where this area is. I will I will fill it all in up until around about that arch there, because after that point it sort of becomes my mines where I am actively removing stone and such, which Not really the best place to have a permanent stone fixture, and it is a massive cave system that I don't think I'd be able to fill in anytime soon. But this is what I currently have for this area. Just a little hop, skip, and jump over a broken waterway, and you can sort of see where the wood's been falling down to from both the walls and the bridge. And if this will continue under here into this whole area, because I had been stressing about how to make a room fit in here when I realized that I love secret passages, I love little caverns, so why not just make this whole little bottom area just a maze of like abandoned cavern passageways that were sealed up long, long ago. And it'll just sort of be like an interconnecting series of passageways that are all accessible through little secret doors. But that's about it, I think. I don't think I've really done much else. It's sort of just been a little bit of progress here and there, and then 1 or 2 days of just bursts of progress. But it's starting to come together. You can see the walls sort of starting to form the shape of a mansion, and you can look on and see how stupidly large I decided to build this. But I'm liking how it's starting to come together, and I hope to be able to get a lot more rooms together. So, yeah, farewell.